Welcome back to my ninth podcast called Intro to the Philosophy of the Human Person with Jai. For today's guest, let me give you a small info about him. He is from Manila, and for the topic of today's podcast is the human person freedom. I am your humble host Jai, who has a blog site called Jai's Personal Blog, which mainly talks about my activities and performances from my current school and grade 12 STEM student. Alright, today's guest. Welcome to the ninth episode of Intro to the Philosophy of the Human Person with Jai. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Uh, I am Cardo Dalisay. I am a Aegis holder from Manila.
Thank you, Ardo, for introducing yourself. As I already mentioned from the start, the topic for today is all about the human person's freedom. So, shall we begin?
Okay, sure.
In understanding the human person's freedom, I have first a question. Cardo, what is the negative freedom and the positive freedom of Isaiah Berlin?
Oh, negative freedom is where it refers to the praised freedom from or absence of. It produces interference in people around you. However, a positive freedom is where the freedom that requires active effort on the part of the person to do what is good. The freedom to do what is right without forcing to do so.
Thank you for that, Cardo.
Now, here is my question for you, Jai. What do John Paul Sartre believe on exercising freedom and becoming real?
I know that. Freedom is exercised through how are we going to choose in our given choices. And through choosing, we are becoming real. But sometimes, someone's freedom becomes overwhelming and they start to think that they might stop in facing many possibilities that they can choose, causing to joining in a part of the system where we think that we should belong because of this fear.
Thank you for that specified answer, Jai.
For the last question of this week's podcast, what is meant by Soren Kierkegaard in the idea of your choice shape who you are?
His idea means that our freedom in choosing for ourselves leads to our personality consolidation that builds up ourselves, not only knowing our weaknesses, but also know what we can do for us to improve.
Thank you for that, Cardo. And in ending this, we've learned that there are two types of freedom by Isaiah Berlin, John Paul Sartre, belief on exercising of freedom, and becoming real, and lastly, Soren Kierkegaard idea of your choices shapes who you are. So that is all, guys. Thank you for listening and supporting my podcast. I am your humble host, Jai. If you have something in mind, feel free to comment down below what you think. Until the next episode of Intro to the Philosophy of the Human Person with Jai.